Hi guys. Sorry I'm a little late. I was watching, actually, IET is on True Reporting right now, unfortunately, and so this is kind of conflicting, but I was watching that and I was like, well, I don't want to leave them waiting. But when we're done here, if you guys haven't seen that, go over there and certainly watch that, because I think that was his first interview ever, and he was killing it. He's got some really interesting things to say. So after we're done here, go over there and check that out. It's True Reporting, TRU Reporting. Hi guys, howdy doodah. What's up, what's up? So we will get in, Kate's on time, 5 minutes late. I'm not late usually, am I? No, I'm never late. We'll get into the links and things like that, then we'll chat, and I don't have a ton of links for you today. Still lots of stuff going on. Or I've got a lot of links, but some of them are just all kind of related, and we're gonna go through them quickly because I don't want to go through everything. Oh, I'm short. I forgot my pillow, so I'm kind of short today. Hi guys. Okay, so the first thing I have for you that I wanted to go over was the coronavirus bill that's been derailed, and I didn't see any updates on it, at least within the last couple hours. But on Monday, Nancy Pelosi proposed a 1,400-page coronavirus bill stuffed with special interest goodies, and so I'm going to read some of the goodies to you. It was also, I think, a projected $2.5 trillion stimulus plan. So increased fuel emission standards for airlines receiving funds and carbon offsets. We're talking about people's lives. We're talking about people who are worried about their families and their lives and their businesses. Jimmy, thank you so much. And they're throwing all kinds of stuff into this bill. Why'd you block me? Twitter just researching. I don't know I don't know why I blocked you, but oh, I probably do know why I blocked you. Message me later, but thank you, Jimmy. So all of these things that are going into this bill that have basically nothing to do with what the task at hand is, and that is to make sure that the American people are sustained during this time when a lot of people are out of work and scared about that. Same-day voter registration, early voting, voting by mail, ballot harvesting, preserving collective bargaining power for unions, the expansion of wind and solar taxes, money for Planned Parenthood, requirements for federal and corporate gender and racial diversity data, restricting colleges from providing information about citizenship status. So I had a lot of people also that I was talking to yesterday, or that I was seeing on, social media, talking about it themselves. A lot of Democrats are now like, this was kind of something for them to pop their eyes open and say, what the hell are these people doing? It is loathsome, and yesterday I called it the Greed New Deal, and then I was like, I gotta make a meme for that, and then there's just no time. There's no time. Somebody else can make that Greed New Deal meme and spread it around. But anyway, just despicable. And so today, as of today, she's saying she'll attempt to pass the Senate's coronavirus economic status package, and putting aside her alternative. So we'll see how that goes. If there's an update on it, you guys can let me know, because I've been out of the loop for the last couple hours while I was doing other things. I put a link below to a really interesting article about the Wuhan P4 Laboratory. We're gonna go kind of jump around here a little bit, just because I'm disorganized. Because we're going to talk more about Wuhan and the virus. But I wanted to put that, thanks to Jordan Sather, who is the one that posted that today and called it to my attention. And so go check that out. There's also, I have a link below. It says FLASHBACK, January 14th. Actually, I don't know if I have a link to this or if I just have a link to the tweet. Actually, I think I've got a link to the article. On January 14th, the WHO told everybody, don't worry, because China says the coronavirus isn't contagious. So this was their actual tweet. Preliminary investigations conducted by the Chinese authorities have found no clear evidence of human-to-human transmission of the novel coronavirus 2019 nCoV identified in Wuhan, China. Thanks, guys. So that was just something that I wanted to throw in here when I came across that. Lots of stuff in the news with hydroxychloroquine, hydroxychloroquine, quin. This is the drug that Trump has been talking about that he says seems very promising. This is an antiviral that they've used. I think it's been around since the 50s. They've used it since I think the 90s with people for people in the military. It's an anti-malaria drug. So people have taken this before, and now we're seeing that it could possibly be effective for the coronavirus. And I have a few links below of articles and testimonials from people who had the coronavirus and took this drug and say that they believe that it was what got rid of it for them. So that Fauci dude, Dr. Fauci, does not see. Basically, what you have here is kind of a tug of war going on between people that, the doctors that say, well, this hasn't been tested. It seems like there's a lot of strain right now on what Trump wants to do versus some of the people on his task force. And it does seem like they're very kind of married to this vaccine, which would take, I think I wrote it down. They're doing a trial right now that's taking place in Seattle, which again is another one of the hotbeds for the coronavirus. It includes 45 people age 18 to 55, and they're receiving 2 injections, one at 0 days and one at 28 days. And then the individuals will be followed for a year. And so the trial's underway, but we don't have the results of that yet. So that seems like it's going to take a lot of time. Right now, what we do have is a drug that isn't approved for this particular illness, but people have taken it, and and people have taken it for this virus. And so we've got kind of the, that kind of data versus like the official study. And if you'll remember, Trump passed the right to try. It seems like they're kind of gearing up more and more to put the medical sovereignty into the people to make their own decisions what they want to do with themselves. It really is a shame. You can find videos online of people with Parkinson's where they're shaking very badly, and then they can smoke marijuana and it makes their shaking go away, and this is what works for that particular person, and that particular person might live in a place where that isn't legal, and that is really a shame. And so I am more of the opinion that people have a right to make the decisions of their own lives. If there's a drug and maybe it doesn't have every backing standard of all of the official different levels, if you decide that you want to inform yourself, go out there, investigate it yourself, and talk to your doctor and weigh the pros and cons and make that decision yourself, I think that that's what you should do. So we're seeing a lot of backlash from the media, which is kind of an indication to me that this drug probably works because they don't want it. And these people have been, a man died, I don't know if it was today or yesterday, apparently in Arizona. He and his wife heard the word chloroquine and remembered that that was an ingredient in the chemical whatever that they had sitting around to clean their fish tank with, and took it, and the guy died and the woman is hospitalized, supposedly. I don't even know if there weren't names in this article. I don't even, like, I can't even fathom that somebody would do that. Obviously, when you are talking about medications, chemical compounds, just because words have the same root or something in it, chemicals don't work that way. Sodium chloride would be very different from chlorine dioxide. They're not the same chemicals. So don't take what you're cleaning your koi pond with. So obviously they were pushing this massively in the media, and some media outlets I was seeing post retractions saying, okay, we got it wrong. It wasn't, because at first they were saying, see, the drug that Trump pushed is killing people. Well, no, that's not what he was talking about. And so a couple news organizations did retract. Some of them still have it up there. Total enemy of the people move. That is a completely unfair and dangerous lie. So don't go to Petco and shove it in your face. Thank you, Joni. Exactly. Okay, so there's an article I have below about a 52-year-old man from Florida who says that the coronavirus, that the hydroxychloroquine cured him, saved his life from the coronavirus. There's also a video I posted below from Daniel Day Kim. He was the guy that played Jin in Lost. I'm sure he's probably been in a million other things since then, but that's like the last time I watched TV. Anyway, he's talking about it and how he took it. And in his words, he says that he thinks it was the secret weapon, and he got over it in like, I think he said 9 days or something like that. And that he's from Korea originally. He says that they're also using it in Korea with great success. So those are interesting to check out. I have an Epoch Times article about the combination of hydroxychloroquine and remdesivir, and which is, they're kind of talking about this combination of things. And then a study by Dr. Gregory Regano, or he's one of the people, he's the co-author of it, where they're finding that of the patients that took this medicine, hydroxychloroquine, they were found free of the disease within 6 days. I think like 90 to 100% of them. So, and they're also looking at the fact that this might even be a preventative drug. So we will keep our eyes on that. I know a lot of people have a lot of holistic ideas of, ways to keep healthy and stuff like that. I think we've even talked about them on here. But anyway, we'll keep our eyes on that. I have a link below to Event 201. So Event 201 was in October of 2019. It was the Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security in partnership with the World Economic Forum and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation hosted Event 201, a high-level pandemic exercise on October 18th, 2019 in New York, New York. The exercise illustrated areas where public/private partnerships will be necessary during the response to a severe pandemic in order to diminish large-scale economic and societal consequences. Super weird. Another weird thing about this is, I know you guys have been following probably all of the weird videos coming out from celebrities these days of them being in their house and just making very weird videos. One of the videos was a Tom Hanks video, and he's talking about how he's playing gin rummy with his wife, and she's up 201 points, 201. And then somebody pointed out to me, because I've never played gin rummy before, that gin rummy only goes to 100 points. So that's very weird. That seems like a very specific number, and then especially putting it together with this. There are just comms flying, I think. Paul from Montana, keep it up, Kate. We think you are great. Thank you so much, Paul. Thank you, thank you. So, yeah, that's weird. We have a bunch more high-level coronavirus people, more than this list. Again, I'm just kind of compiling what I come across. Michel Barnier, the EU's chief Brexit negotiator, Amy Klobuchar's husband, Representative Ben McAdams, Andy Cohen, who is, best friends with Andrew, or what's his face? Andy, what's his name? The white-haired guy from CNN. Star Karma, thank you. Late as per usual, making dinner for the kids. Thank you so much for being here. Anyway, he's got it. Placido Domingo, he's a Spanish opera singer. Senator Rand Paul. There's an aide from Buckingham Palace that apparently tested positive. Also, Angela Merkel is quarantined after a doctor who treated her tests positive. David Bryan of Bon Jovi, Utah Senator Luz Escamilla, and Greta Thunberg put out an Instagram post where she's talking about how she's pretty sure she had it, but that she is now recovering. So I put that in there, even though she, you know, she wasn't tested for it. I think a lot of us, remember when I was sick and I missed those couple weeks of doing my videos? And so many of us were just really sick and couldn't shake it. And it was all of the symptoms that we're hearing about with coronavirus. It really does make you wonder if this was possibly going around for longer than we thought it was, because, you know, we're hearing reports that actually China, they had it going on in China for months longer than they let it be known, and who knows? I mean, none of us were tested, so there's really no way, I guess, that we could know at this point. But I do think it's interesting that so many people got so very sick with these exact same symptoms. Yeah, see, a bunch of you are saying that you feel like you might have had it too. Like, it was very different from a normal flu. And, you know, a couple things that made it different. One of the things is that you just couldn't kick it. It was like in your system for weeks, and you just felt like weighed down. And a lot of people said that they felt like they were breathing underwater. And so, you know, it'd be interesting to know, but it is possible. I do know that there are at least 2 strains of it. There's an S and an L strain of the coronavirus. I don't even really know what that means. A lot of this medical stuff is obviously over my head and is just a lot of speculation on my part, and I'm just watching and taking in all of the information. You know, a lot of people have theories. There are a lot of really cool theories, really interesting theories floating around. I didn't want to really get into any of them because even though some of them line up for me and I think that they really make a lot of sense, I don't know. I don't think any of us know, and it's too kind of important to really speculate at this point. At this point, I feel like either way, we need to be living as if this is a real pandemic that, you know, could get people sick, not in the sense of being fearful of it, but just in being careful. Even if you're not high risk, even if you're not around people who are high risk, if whatever I had was that, you don't want it. It is not fun. Even just for the sake of getting into the good habits of, you know, washing your hands, all of these things that they're telling us to do are things we should be doing anyway. Other than like the Anderson Cooper, thank you so much. Other than the social distancing and like not getting in groups of more than 3 or 10 or whatever it is now. But also, you know, staying home with our families and spending time with our families and not going out to bars and restaurants every day and, you know, whatever. Some of these habits are going to be pretty interesting, and we'll see if this changes anything in our society when this is all said and done. Good hygiene, yes, absolutely. But, you know, there are lots of different schools of thought when it comes to the coronavirus right now. Everything from this is it, this is the pandemic that's going to kill us all, to it's not real. I am somewhere in the middle. I do believe this is a real virus. I do believe that it is making people sick and killing people. And I think that there's also a lot of other stuff attached to it. That's a good question, but we'll do questions in just a minute. I only have a few more things. Actually, I didn't put a link to this, I don't think, but it's on my Twitter that I just posted, I think last night. 60 Italian priests also are dead now from corona. Italian, did I say that? 60 Italian priests are dead from the coronavirus. UK is now in a soft lockdown. I don't think I put a link to that. I really was just talking to a couple of my friends in the UK and going over it with them, so I didn't even really have a link, but just kind of hearing about that was interesting. And the Olympics being postponed, I didn't put a link to that because y'all can find that yourself. It's everywhere. You've been wiping the bottom of your shoes. That's cute. What did I wake up from? We'll go into that. I'll talk about that when I get to the end of my links, just because I know some people just come here for the links, so I'm going to give that to them, and then we'll talk. Oh, I'm actually almost done. So I've got a link below to Joe Biden just being Joe Biden. They actually, like, where was he? There was actually a hashtag trending on Twitter where it was like, where's Biden? Because he was, you know, very obviously missing from this entire thing. So then I think they had to like drag him out by his sideburns and like prop him up and like give him a teleprompter and like make a statement. And then since then he did an interview and he just says weird things. And one of the things he said was, "We have to take care of the cure. That will make the problem worse no matter what." Please don't let that man ever be our president. Oh, it's so weird. Did I put that link below? U.S. military given continuity of government standby orders for COVID-19. A lot of people have been posting pictures, videos of these very massive military vehicles showing up in their cities or being driven through their cities on a train. Things like tanks. And I know that we are, setting up makeshift hospitals, and we are, deploying our National Guard, and we have all of these things, but I cannot imagine what they would possibly need tanks for, unless these tanks are filled with like Lysol, I don't know. So that's a very interesting thing to kind of be paying attention to. But yes, enjoy the show. I have a link below to a former tech reporter, Peter Bright, who was found guilty of soliciting sex with children with an undercover FBI agent, and apparently he was trying to procure like a 7 and a 9-year-old, really sick stuff. But I wanted to cover this because he's known as Dr. Pizza. So you can check that out below. We've got Prince William is to act as a placeholder for the Queen due to the coronavirus. Placeholders are something that Q points to a lot, so wanted to get eyes on that. And I've got another really great article. It's called The Comprehensive Timeline of China's COVID-19 Lies. I really suggest going through that. There's some really interesting stuff. And then I've got a link to, last night Dan Scavino was posting a bunch of pictures to his Instagram story, and they were all just like very unifying messages that people had like written in sidewalk chalk in front of their homes or on the side of their house or, whatever. And a couple of them contained Qs. One of them, in fact, contained a Q+. So if you haven't seen those pictures yet, go to there's the bottom link and go check those out because that's fun. Also, I wanted to mention tomorrow night, I'm going to be on, you remember a few weeks back, I interviewed with Alara of Sirius on 1 Foot and 5D. I did an interview with her. So she and another girl who goes by Livin are gonna do on Wednesday nights now something called Pink Patriot Hour, where it's women getting together and talking about all of these fun topics. It'll be kind of, a lot of like the stuff that I go over, and also I know they're also very kind of heavily into the secret space program and all of that fun stuff. So I'm going to be on that tomorrow night, and I already forgot what time, but you guys know that I will tweet it tomorrow with the time. But go to the link at the bottom and go make sure you subscribe to her channel. She is so awesome. She's so fun. I'm really excited that these girls are doing this. I think it's a great idea. I love that there are so many women in this community. I love that there are so many people who were anons that I had been talking to for months or years, and then I find out eventually that they're women, and I thought the whole time that they were men. When I looked at the statistics of my YouTube channel and saw that my viewership was 50% male and 50% female, somebody that knows a thing or two about YouTube was telling me that that's like pretty unheard of for something that's not like a makeup channel. So that makes me excited. So go check that out. Yep, Pink Patriot Hour. So yeah, those are all the links that I have for you guys. Which photo do you mean, Joni? I'm actually gonna grab this pillow because I'm sitting on my feet, and that's like the ticking time bomb. So 1 second. Now I won't be so shrimpy. This painting, by the way, is getting ready to fall. I have it just kind of wonky donkey sitting up there. Kate should be on the next Above Majestic doc. Yeah, except I don't know anything about UFOs, but I love what they do. Wonky donkey, there's a shirt. Ouch. I actually have a donkey in my neighborhood, and so with this, I live like in the middle of just a bunch of horse ranches, and which is really cool, and especially when you have a little one, and especially when you're under quarantine and you're supposed to be staying away from people, there's not a lot I can do with him, you know, take him out in the yard and stuff, ride his tricycle, but I took him over to like go, you know, pick the noses of the donkeys and the horses in the neighborhood, and that was a lot of fun, and it was, I felt very grateful to have them around. He keeps telling me that his favorite animals are donkeys, but I have no idea if that's true. You can never really believe a 4-year-old. Hi, Chris. Hi, everybody. I had a little bit of a panic a few days ago due to the current situation, but now I feel so zen and chill. Thank you for bringing that up, because that was exactly what happened to me, and I've talked to some other people who felt the same way. I had like this week of it was hell. It was hell. I felt physically a weight on me. I felt ill. I felt sad. I had a bunch of stuff going on in my life that was really upsetting me. And literally there was just this moment that like, I almost felt like a buzzing feeling in my brain. And then all of a sudden just this kind of calm came over me, and it's stuck with me since then. So I don't know. And I've talked to some other people, same thing. I think it's hard not to get swept up in the panic and all this weird stuff that's going on in our world that is literally unprecedented, and feeling the energies from other people around you who aren't paying attention and who are really freaked out. Let me just tell you right now, if I had never found Q, if I hadn't been on top of all of this stuff and watching it unfold the way that I have been, I would be one of those people that would be freaking out right now. That was me. I was the doomsday prepper. Like, I was the person that always, like Sophia from the Golden Girls, I'd like sleep with my purse. Like, I always have to be ready to go. I knew where my shoes were, my keys were, like it's go time at any second. And I kind of just lived my life that way. It's really sad, actually, if you think about it. And yeah, I feel very calm. It's exciting watching it unfold. I feel fortunate that we are getting to watch this happen in real time. Good vibrations. Thank you, Chris, so much. It really does make a difference. And it's not necessarily that we know what's going to happen. I mean, I think that we can look at these things and think, okay, this is lining up in an uncanny way. And it really does feel like this might be what we have been putting together for these years. This might be the time, but even if it's not, you were looking at it from all of these different perspectives. Every time the media tells us that the sky is falling, we take a step back and we know, like, our first instinct now is, okay, where's the lie? What are you lying about? And it's actually really healthy, because I watch what's going on with the people that are still buying into that, and they're not doing as well. They're not doing so hot. So we also have to be there for them. It's a hard thing to navigate. I've got those friends that are messaging me, and I know they kind of want more information from me. You know, I think they want me to kind of reassure them, which I do, of course, in my own way, but I'm not just going to be like, well, listen to what's happening and you're going to feel a lot better. Blue Mangoes, thank you so much. Because the truth is, I don't know. I do like, there's a timeline thing that's going around that actually lined up today with Trump talking about Easter, which that's another thing. He's so confident, and you know, the media is panicking so badly, and I just keep telling a couple of people that have messaged me and saying that they're kind of freaking out. I say, don't watch the media, just watch the president. Just watch him talk. Listen to what he's saying. Listen to the confidence that he's speaking with. And just let yourself buy into that, if you will. Because for one thing, if this is off the rails, there's nothing you're going to do about it anyway. But he also knows a lot more than any of us know, more than the media knows. And I think that there is, it's a good indicator to me that things are lining up the way. I mean, he's like giving this virus an end date. He's now said Easter, which actually lines up with a bunch of different theories. It's actually really cool to see it all come together. But again, I just didn't want to put that on here. But you guys can always, if you guys follow my Twitter, on my Twitter, I'll retweet, I post almost everything I come across, as long as it seems, as long as I've vetted a little bit, or as long as it's an obvious theory and not somebody saying that something is going to definitely happen. I put all that stuff on my Twitter. And at this point, you guys, you have nothing else to do. If you don't have a Twitter account, you might as well just make one and just get on there and get that information in real time, because it really is where all of it is coming together. And I know we hate Twitter, we hate all the social media, and I know everybody's just doesn't want to be a part of any of it. If anything, I would get off Facebook completely, because that has just become an echo chamber of all the bad stuff. I can't even stomach it. But Twitter is very different. It's where the president posts. It's really where everything kind of comes together. So I know we all hate Twitter. We all hate Twitter. I hate Twitter too. The second our president leaves, or the second this is over, I am gone. I am off of Twitter. Maybe. I don't know. I still like making dad jokes. I might just leave it around for that. But hopefully there will be another. I know a lot of patriots are out there working on other platforms, and those platforms are really good, and they have a lot of promise, and they probably could take over one day. But the point is that you got to get Trump off Twitter and onto one of those platforms. Otherwise, they're really not even not really an option yet. You war on Facebook every day. See, that just sounds exhausting. But good for you, because, in the beginning, when I kind of started learning about this, I was finding stuff on Facebook because of people like you who were, taking the time to post and share that stuff. So, my Twitter handle is, it's Kate_awakening. Google has been unlocked. Maybe Twitter next. Yeah, I don't know. Definitely the Google images seem like they've been unlocked. Kate, you need to teach me how to tweet. I follow you, just observe. Well, there's really nothing to it other than retweeting, or even, just making your presence known, even by liking somebody else's tweet. Those likes are, you're creating a presence, and you're actually advocating for something, and you're by retweeting it, even if nobody's really paying attention to you, you're still adding to the numbers of other people that are out there putting this information. Once upon a time, like a couple years ago, when this all got started, it was really pathetic. We were so outnumbered when it came to those who were trying to spread the truth versus those who were just buying into the mainstream narrative. And we would get smoked when it came to even having any sort of a presence on Twitter. Now it's like we flip polls within like an hour. I'm watching some of these accounts that I followed for a long time just become massive. And especially since this whole lockdown thing started, people are out there searching for this information now. You might not want to be like an influencer or, out there like, putting the information out there, but you can still be a supporter for all of those who are. And that's honestly where I started with my Twitter. I didn't have any desire to do anything like this, or even have like a truth-based Twitter. I was just doing it for my normal Twitter, but I'm like, I'm still going to support those people that are doing that stuff. This will all be over before the end of April. After this happens, please get a hold of me. I'm a researcher and an author, and that has good connections. I would be happy to help. Thank you. The president just said 15 days to go to slow the spread. Just posted a minute or so. Oh, I don't know if you guys saw the cool hashtag thing today. What was it? in it together, the hashtag in it together, and that meme, and it really went, it spread very quickly, and that was really exciting to see, and it made me a little weepy, to be honest, to look at, I went to the hashtag and just to see all of the people, not only on Twitter but on Instagram too, posting that, and the message of it is so pure and so beautiful that we you know, no matter what angle that you're coming from this, you know, we're in this together and we're going to get through, and just a very unifying message. I really like that. I also retweeted a guy today who made a video, who I don't know if he's like in the beginning, early stages of his awakening, but he was crying, and he was just like, I can't believe this. And I was just like, you know, we've all been there before, and he's not alone. Fortunately for people like him and other people that are waking up right now, they've got all of us. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us didn't have that, didn't really have anybody. Obviously, those of us that came along after Q, such as myself, it was kind of quickly moving. There were a few people out there that were talking about it, not on the scale that we have today. But then, you know, you've got people that have been awake for years longer than Q came around. So those people got through it. And if you're new, we all go through it. We feel you. We know what that's like, and we are here to offer support and know that it gets better, and that it's really dark at first. Your heart will break into 1,000 pieces, and then what will grow in its place will be stronger and just massively, you'll just be a new person, and there is a light at the end. It's not all dark. Some of it, and then it gets kind of fun, to be honest. There's still that dark stuff, but we have fun, don't we? Have speculation on who Q is, not who anyone expected. This is crazy news if true. Yeah, I think we've all got our speculations on who Q is, but I think the important thing is that it doesn't really matter. It really doesn't matter. Obviously, we'd all love to know. It would be exciting to know. But, you know, everybody's got their theories, and I understand having your theories on who Q is. I don't really understand the drive of some people to actually campaign for certain people that they think is Q, because it really doesn't matter who Q is. And also a lot of the people that are campaigning for, you know, a particular person, I think are kind of off track. So it really doesn't matter. I wouldn't tell anybody what to think or what to believe. I've literally never told anybody to unfollow anybody or said anybody was like a known shill. That's not really my jam. I kind of trust everybody to figure it out on their own. We all get duped. It will happen less and less. I can speak from personal experience. It happens to me less now. I still get duped from time to time, but it happened to me a lot in the beginning. And that's not necessarily to say that you can be in this and very intelligent and not still get duped. It still happens. There are, if you think about it right now, there are forces against us, working against us, that have the resources to pull the wool over our eyes in such a massive way, and they are salivating to do that. And so you do have to be really careful with your discernment and what you get attached to. Michael, thank you. Kate, be great. Who doesn't love Kate? Thank you so much. Jude, yeah, we get it. You seem like one of those people that is literally campaigning for a person. I think at this point, everybody has heard that name before, and people can check that out if they want to and make their own decisions. But it is wasting too much time. And really, when it comes down to it, like I said, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who it is. The information matters. We've talked before about if Q never posted again, we already have enough. The point is people waking up, people learning to discern, people, you know, seeing the world for what it is. It's not about the messenger. Chris Hawkins, the point is not to awaken us, ask questions, and bring us together. We outnumber, outrank, and overpower them. That's true. There are way more of us than there are of them. Medicate. I like it. Yes, I hope that JFK Jr. is still alive, but I think that Q said no. Yeah, again, I mean, wouldn't that just be the cherry on top? But again, yeah, Q said no, and we shall see. Again, like, it's fun. That is a fun speculation. If that was true, it would make a lot of people happy. It would make me really happy. But we can't like go out and campaign for it and try to get people to believe it. Either way, whether we believe he is alive or whether we believe he's dead. That's just my opinion. Yeah, you can email me at it's thekateawakening@gmail.com. Vincent Fusco. Oh, did you guys see there was that like a family? It was actually Fusco, but like a whole family of people that got coronavirus. And I can't remember how many of them have died from it so far, but I think it was like 4 of them so far. And then the Daily Beast put out a tweet that I thought was really weird, where it was about the most recent member of the family, the Fusco family, that died, and his name was Vincent. But it was just weird because in the tweet they put, you know, the latest member of this family to succumb to the coronavirus, rest in peace, Vincent Fusco. Like, when do you ever see that when they're reporting on something? I just thought that whole thing was very weird. Take out the not autocorrect. Thanks, Chris. Yeah, all these things are just very fun to speculate on, I guess. But, you know, it's one of the reasons that a lot of us learned a while back not to put any weight on particular dates, even when things are lining up in just astronomical ways, which like they are right now. We still, you know, we've been burned before, and this is different because every time we've been like, no, that this feels like it. Oh no, this feels like it. This really feels like it. But again, we don't want to set ourselves up to be, you know, disappointed, gutted if this isn't it. So we just have to reevaluate. It's important to take a look at all of those theories. It's important to look at those dates and see if things are lining up. It's important to have eyes on everything. Just as long as you're not so invested in a particular thing or person before you have a fact. Yeah, Fall Cabal, everybody keeps recommending that to me. I have still yet to watch it. As soon as I do, I will put up a link for you guys. But I hear it's really great. It's a series of, what is it, Awakening videos. They're, is it Q related? I don't really know. I know the gist kind of, that it's a series, and I think 5 got taken down. But yeah, I hear that's really good, and that's on my list to check out. Fall Cabal is excellent. Yeah, that's like the general consensus. Yes, it is Nikola Tesla behind me. It's all Q related. Okay, thanks. That's good to know. But you know, we've got all of our family members held captive right now. And so it's a great time to have series like that and, you know, be like, hey, want to check this out with me? Couldn't hurt. Check out Joe M's video at Storm is Upon Us. Yep, that's a great one. That one gets shared everywhere all the time. It's a really good kind of, it's just good for people that are new. It'll really tug at your heartstrings. Find a good chat stream and talk about it would be my advice. I don't know who you're talking to, but that sounds like I don't know what the first part of that was, but if you're talking about like awakening and going through this stuff, remember when I started out my channel, it was different. I just had my videos and I was gonna do these like little red pill videos or these deep dives and just, you know, make these little so super awkward videos where I was trying to like get some kind of a point across, and it just morphed into this naturally because it just did. Because of my connection with you guys, because you guys are finding information just like I'm finding information. This just seemed like a more natural way to do it, where we share this information, but also most importantly because the human interaction is so important in this, and a lot of people don't have a single family member or friend. It's less so now, more people do, but you know, months back, it was, most of us had really nobody to talk to about all of this. Dennis Owens, thank you so much. Kansas City loves you, Kate. Thank you, love you too. Chris, thank you. Is that Kate in front of Nikola Tesla? It is indeed. Oh, I'm curious about what dreams everyone in this movement is having. Are we having similar dreams? I haven't been dreaming much. Oh, Nicola's gonna go. I haven't been dreaming that much lately, actually. Or not anything that I can remember. But I was, for a while there, having some very, very strange dreams. You can actually see where he fell off the wall the other day and smudged the paint on my wall. What's up from Malibu, California? All the world's a stage and we are merely players. Eyes wide open. Awesome. I love Malibu. I'm from Calabasas. Kate, what's the plan if nothing happens by Easter for us? So, well, you know, that's obviously a question that bounces around. I don't think there is a plan for now. I don't think, obviously, since this is kind of looking like an unprecedented lining up of everything going on, and this really looks like it, I really think that if it doesn't happen at this point, most of us will go back to the drawing board and really look at this and kind of figure these things out. There are people who have the fear that Q is a psyop and that this is a way to get us kind of appeased and inactive, and to feel like we're trusting the plan and we're not going to do anything about it and we're just going to watch the world burn. But there are a couple problems, I think, with that theory, and the biggest one is that we're still armed. And the other one is that look at all the people that the Q operation woke up, myself included. Why would they do, like, we were all asleep. It would have been like shooting fish in a barrel. We were all asleep. Why wake us up and like get us activated to, you know, take our countries back and band together and unite? So that one doesn't really make any sense to me. But I understand why people speculate on it, question it, worry about it even. But I'm not worried about that. I'm in the UK, that's not what we get, LOL. Yeah. Yeah, no, Marla said, I never paid attention until I looked into Q. Me neither, to an embarrassing degree. And same with a lot of people. Anyone see Madonna's comment on fish fry? Urban Dictionary on fish fry is disgusting. I did see that. Again, all of these weird videos from these people. You know, according to, I think what Q had kind of laid out for us, it does seem like the communications with these people had been severed a long time ago. Their satellites were turned off, their, you know, their phones were bugged, their computers, their iPads, all bugged. So they can't speak privately anymore. It would make sense if you couldn't speak privately and you needed to get word out to people that you would post things in code. So I know a lot of us are, you know, just code brained at this point. Everything we see, it's like, is this a code, whatever. But some of these are like very obviously, they make absolute. It's like the WikiLeaks emails. Without it being code, they make absolutely no sense whatsoever. Can I play, do you think I could play dominoes on pizza or pasta? That sentence makes no sense whatsoever unless you plug in certain code words, certain meanings for those words. So, in which case it makes it a very disgusting sentence. So, yeah, it's weird. And there's like a lot of the same symbolism going on in all of them. Yep, Albert Fish, that's an interesting thing to look into, and the fact that he fried. I would look into that. That's a possibility. There's also the fried fish, FF. What do we know about FF? She was also doing this kind of weird like GUN thing with her finger when she was saying that. Man, they all look horrible. What is up with that? On one hand, I was like, okay, she's taking these videos in this like milk bath. I was like, is she just trying to soothe whatever stung her that made her swell up like that? I remember when I was in high school, okay, I had this dog named Toad, and Toad was it's called a Dog de Bordeaux, and it's like a boxer mastiff mix, and they've got really wrinkly faces. And I actually snuck out of the house, and I was sneaking back in the house through Toad's dog door, which was like, you know, 8 feet by 8 feet. She was massive. And she had been, and like the first thing I see when I go in through the dog door is my dog's big giant face. She had been stung by a scorpion, and every wrinkle in her face had been blown out. And it looked exactly like what Madonna looks like right now. It's nuts. I mean, she's like 104 years old. She should be aging, but it's this like plumped up, just stretched out, weird, very strange look. Tom Hanks, Chet Hanks put out that weird video. Chet Hanks has all those sucky tattoos that really suck and are so stupid. And he likes to show off his sucky tattoos. He's always shirtless to show off his sucky tattoos. And why would he be the spokesperson? Why would the Hanks, like, they've got publicists, why would he be their spokesperson topless? I'm the topless spokesperson for this family. We are all still working in my state in the oil and gas industry. In history, I don't believe I'll get to do the 15 days off like many in the nation. Interesting. Where are you located? Sad Tom Hanks did Mr. Rogers movie. Yeah, that makes me sad too. Hey, take this time, live it up, guys. Watch Forrest Gump, watch all those movies, listen to Madonna, if that's your thing, because guess what? I have a hunch. You're not going to want to do that anymore ever again. And that really is a bummer, because some really, you know, that's what happens when things get tainted. Chris Hawkins, thank you so much. I'm older than Madonna. Listen, nothing wrong with we hope to be Madonna's age someday. It is the way she is presenting herself that makes her age laughable. Her age is something that is her age itself is honorable. The way she has blown up her face and the way she behaves and dresses and all of that is the thing that we laugh at. Did you see Chet Hanks' most recent Instagram upload? No, I didn't. North Dakota. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, we're going to have a lot of people who are in industries that are going to be carrying us through this. Our truckers, you know, people that will have to go to work. And we just need to be mindful of those people, keep them in our prayers. Be sure to thank them. If you know somebody that is, you know, got to be the one to go to work to make sure that we have our supplies, that this country is still running to some extent. So, you know, not all of us can be sitting on our duffers at home looking at YouTube all day. But, you know, thank you to those people who are doing those things. We will be indebted to you forever. We will have a big party when this is all over. I believe Chet Hanks was a woman. He has scars under his breasts. Interesting. Age is honorable. Remember when everyone cherished our elderly. Exactly. And some societies still do. I know Japanese societies still are very, you know, they have so much, they have a lot more respect for their elderly population. Which makes so much sense. These are the people that have lived more of the life and know more and have experienced more, and they should be revered. I think he had pec implants, possibly. Do you guys remember that show on MTV where they would get the plastic surgery? I just remember a guy getting calf implants, and then he like went running on the beach and they started to bleed. Did you see that video going around where Lady Gaga's blank flopped out during a show? What? I have not seen that. That's new to me. But she wouldn't be the only one who was packing heat secretly, I believe. It does seem to be a thing. What's your opinion on Q's 10 Days of Darkness? I could go either way with this. Obviously, I think at this point, if like, I don't believe that it would be a total internet blackout. I don't think that that's a thing. I could see something where like our social media goes down, like Twitter, Facebook, etc. I think at this point, if that happens in the next like couple weeks, I would take that as an indication of like, this kind of seems like a little bit closer to what we were expecting. Again, if you think about what the alternative kind of idea is of what's going on behind the scenes, and the idea of keeping us home and safe, and people taking the time to research and look into these things and talk to their friends and family and really unite into their communities, into their family. You know, the way society should be, it should be family first, and then neighborhood, and then town. And it's like you protect your own, you take care of your own so that nobody else has to take care of them. The same way we need to have those connections and not just be so like world-minded all the time, because a lot of people out there like have these intentions to like save the world or to do these awesome things for people on, you know, that side of the planet, but they have people in their own family who are maybe like suffering or, you know, going through something that they're not taking care of. So I do believe that society should be built from the inside out. And in this, you know, if there was like a period of time, think about that, where we didn't have television or internet or something like that, or some kind of configuration of that. I'm not saying it would all go out. It would force us to connect more with our families, to, you know, maybe research, maybe the internet would still be up in the way that we could like look things up, but maybe the media wouldn't be there. Maybe the algorithms that suppress things wouldn't be there, and we would be more freely able to uncover information when we looked it up. Brandy, thank you. Love you much, girl. Keep up the great work. God wins. Thank you so much. So it could be any number of things. I've heard people speculate that it might have already happened. We've had days of dark, you know, 10 days of darkness with Q not posting. Perhaps they were talking about that. It could be. I think it actually makes a lot of sense for there to be some level of an internet blackout. Maybe TV. And, you know, the fact that we were kind of made aware of this presidential alert system that they have in place, and the fact that Q has told us, look for exactly this, my fellow Americans, that we are kind of expecting some kind of address from the president at some point. It would make sense to me that that would happen during a time that there were no other distractions, and that everybody's sitting there and, you know, they either get this alert on their phone or something happens to that effect. Who knows? 10 days of darkness is what happens when a pope ascends to heaven as well. Interesting, I didn't know that. I hope the internet will not be out. You know, me too, obviously. That's how I connect with a lot of my friends, a lot of the people that I talk to. But I think it's important to at least look at the idea that if that happens, it might possibly be a very good sign, so that you can at least see the silver lining if that happens and not be paranoid. I'm telling you, again, if I had not found Q, if this was Kate of like 3 years ago and something like this happened, and on top of that, if the internet and the TV went out, I would have jumped out a window. I couldn't have handled it. So I think it's important, not because I'm saying that it's going to happen, or that people should look out for it or whatever, but I like to tell people that theory because it does offer some level of hope if that actually does happen, and turns it into a positive thing rather than a scary thing. Where's the Pope? What's he doing? He's probably watching this right now. You know, he hasn't called me today, so I'm not sure. I think the 10 days of darkness starts 10 before Easter. POTUS made a reference to what a beautiful day that will be in his address today. I could see that. I could definitely see that. Or 10 days before Good Friday, which is, DJT Day, would also make sense. And then by Easter, everybody is, had the bomb dropped on them on Friday. They do all the research. They get consoling by their friends and their family who know what's going on. And then by Easter, I did think it was interesting that he said that he was hoping that the country would be back to work on Easter, which is a Sunday and a holiday, which nobody would be working anyway. So, yeah, very interesting. The Pope and Kate would make a cute couple. Vomit. There were 2 possible timelines. This timeline is number 1. Nothing can stop what is coming. Yellow confirmed. No matter how they try to change this timeline, it's set. Operation Looking Glass. Yeah, Q has given us some kind of an indication, or many indications, that it's almost like the war is won, and that we can rest easy, we don't have to worry about it. And so what could possibly make them that confident? Is it some kind of technology where they could see into the future? We do have quantum computers that can test the probability of things to an unimaginable degree, and they are playing this that way. Was this stuff all kind of taken care of before the fact, and we are just being shown a movie to catch us up? When I know I always use Nancy Pelosi as my example. Again, she gave us another example of it yesterday by this bill with all of these. It's like the entire world is watching you be just grubbingly greedy, and no person with any level of intelligence, and I think that she's a nitwit, but I also believe that she's an intelligent woman, if you guys can rectify that. But she seems to me like she's a hostage, and she's being forced to destroy her party, destroy herself, bring things out into the open. It is forcing people to open their eyes. Like I said, they're looking at this and being like, whoa. If Trump would have just come out and told them all the truth, nobody would have believed it. They have to see, at some level, you have to see things for yourself. And so, is that a possibility? Maybe. Quantum computers are scary. Yeah, all that stuff kind of scares me. There's just this level of technology that I just feel like if everything was up to me, we would just never advance past, because it's scary. You start messing with things that are, destined to be over our heads. Scrolling. Wait, who's the creepy dude? I'll block him. I think I should be able to block him. Tommy got some dudes to track down. Oh, I don't know what that is. Wondering why Pelosi hasn't self-quarantined. That's another thing too. One of the things that we have been anticipating through all of this is that during this time, when all of this stuff goes down, that the president will be isolated. I believe aboard Air Force One, but what other time in history would it make sense for that to happen other than right now? So I do think that these kind of people that we're seeing, that's kind of getting closer and closer to POTUS, people testing positive, they could very well use that as an excuse to, you know, isolate him. Oh, okay, thanks. Kim Clement was the guy who predicted President Trump. Yeah, those were really interesting. I have to admit, when I first watched those, Metatron. When I first watched those, I thought they were very goofy. You know, the music, the whole thing. You know, whatever. We all have our biases, whatever. But very interesting information came from there, and more. I mean, it's incredible. So if you haven't checked those out, I would check those out too. 10 Days Dark worldwide is pay attention, done in 30, in chains broken. Then all God's people look up and inward like never before. Like our very own huge exodus. God wins, where we go one, we go all. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I mean, we've got the world's attention right now. This isn't just the United States. I mean, we've got people in this chat from all over the world. I've got people that I talk to on a regular basis that are from all different countries. And again, what kind of thing would, this has never happened before. Is this kind of thing ever going to happen again in our lifetime? I hope not, but I also don't think so. Have you heard of Ingersoll Lockwood's 19th century books about Baron Trump? Yeah, those are the Last President and the Adventures of Baron Trump or whatever. If so, then yes, and those are really interesting. Melbourne, Australia, yep. Do I listen to Wano Savin? I don't. I haven't heard of them. Awesome. Mark Taylor's prophecy is easier to understand. Oh, I don't know about him. Your computer keeps lagging on the good parts. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, my computer, my internet's been weird. Obviously, when is my internet not glitchy and weird? But every time that happens, I'm like, is this it? Is it happening? Chill out, Kate. I know. Gonna be a reset, Jubilee. I don't know. I'm very new to the whole Jassara Nassara thing, and I only know very little about it. It's compelling, it's interesting to me, it's a cool theory, and I have no idea. I don't even know enough about normal finances to really weigh in on that subject. You know, obviously I get some elements of the, we've talked about for the Creature from Jekyll Island, that book, and like the creation of the IRS and the Federal Reserve and all of these things that they did. Those are interesting rabbit holes to go down if you have not. And those things alone are just important to know. It's important for us to know now. I feel like it is our job now to know what they've done to us, to figure it out. You don't need anybody to tell you. You can find it on your own. You can research it on your own. But that is our duty right now, because this can't happen again. And if this really does get fixed, that's why I believe that there will be an element of like extreme disclosure, because they can't just fix it all behind the scenes and then have us go back to living our lives. We are stupid. We will do it again. We need to know. I mean, this last time you could say we were tricked, and there were a lot of tricks used on us and very underhanded things, but the people of the world deserve to know what has been done to them and who did it. What's this all about, Pence? What happens if Tesla reaches out of the painting and grabs my hair? I will scream and then I'll cry. Our children need to be taught and it passed down. Exactly. They need to know so that, what was it, Reagan who said, the quote about freedom is, I'm going to just completely butcher it, but that, paraphrasing here, that freedom doesn't just belong to you. You don't just pass it down to your children. They will have to fight for it as well. Just like they will have to, it will be their responsibility. We can't just create a wonderful country and then pass it down and be like, there you go, and have it and just know that it's going to be safe. Every generation will have to protect these things themselves. 10 days upon Air Force One, comms go dark, military activated. Normies won't be the wiser until Durham's report ops explained. Arrest these crooks. Hey, maybe they're already being arrested, or maybe they've already been arrested, some of them. Q saying 20 to 80, 40 to 60. I don't think that has to do with how much truth ultimately comes out. Methinks it's more about seeing what's happening as it happens. Silent war gets progressively loud. Pence shady connections confirmed. Yeah, I don't know what to think about Pence either. I trust him. I don't think he's, I think it's important to remember that not every person is a black hat or a white hat. Everybody is a shade of gray. And a lot of these people that have been in positions of power are going to have shady connections. It's literally impossible not to. You talk to anybody in Hollywood who has done any kind of job and they have worked with shady people who have done terrible things, because that's the way it happens. It's the same thing with Washington. So yeah, I don't have a theory on him. Santa surfing videos on Nicera are great. Dr. Fauci to media, stop trying to create a rift between President Trump and me. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely what they're doing. Although he's not doing a great job of it himself, like with his reactions and whatever. Also, you can look up his emails on the WikiLeaks dumps if you're confused about him. I trust Mike Pence. I think his wife, that might be shady. She got the envelope, follow the wives. Yep, she did get the envelope at the funeral. She is also sick now, right, with the coronavirus. So, but Trump keeps kind of almost going out of his way to talk about what a wonderful woman she is. So now is the time for parents to reteach their children on actual history and how great our POTUS is. Yeah, that's another thing. Kids are out of school. Kids are out of school right now, and so we have literally stopped the indoctrination of them. Even though it's temporary, it's still just puts in perspective so how things have gotten out of our hands, and to the point of we just like send our kids away and have other people educate them, and sometimes they use questionable tactics, or sometimes they're teaching questionable things. And I have actually some friends, some very good friends, who actually might be in this chat right now, who are major advocates for education, and they go and they see what's happening and how on some levels the parents aren't even allowed to know some of the things that are in the game plans for the teachers. That's scary. So I do hope, like obviously as a mom, that's one of the things that's like highest on my priority list, is that we get our education revamped, fixed, and yeah, it's a mess. It's a mess. Not even just the subject matter and what they're teaching in school, but how school is structured. I mean, like the fact that these kids are just, that we keep them there for so many hours, and just the whole thing to me is very grueling with education these days. Biden's malfunctioning clone. I just might homeschool my kids. Yeah, I think about that too. And then there's like, you feel guilty because you want them to have the same kind of life experiences that you had as a kid, and these normal kid things of, being in classrooms and getting to know, being around these kids every day, and, making those childhood friends, and I don't know, just those experiences, which for the most part were actually kind of traumatic, but just You know, there was a lot of good stuff in there too. So it would seem a shame that we would have to throw out, you know, throw out the entire thing, but it definitely needs a serious revamping. Kids should not be in school for the entire day and then be sent home with homework. And, you know, the switching of the subjects, and I don't know, the whole thing is bad. I could go on forever, but I don't want to bore you guys because I'm sure not all of you have kids. And some of you are like done with that. Getting beaten up, having your lunch money stolen. I mean, yeah, those are pretty terrible things, but you know, there were also some good memories. I used to beat everybody's butt at tetherball. I was so good at tetherball. I was really good at handball too. Those are my glory days. That's when Kate peaked. Kate peaked in 3rd grade. We should have rotating groups of homeschooling in a neighborhood. Yeah, I actually saw a TED Talk with like an 11-year-old boy who does homeschooling, and it was like the program that they did, they got the kids out and they got them together, and that was several years ago. It was before this whole Q thing that I saw that, and even then I was like, God, I would really like to do that. It seems like a very cool way to educate your child, where the parents are very involved, the kids are still together, they're going out and having life experiences. Like this kid, for example, was talking about how they would go up on the mountain and learn about mountain safety with, like, you know, learn how to snowboard or whatever. You know, you could specialize kids' educations so much, make it geared so much more towards kids. You know, I was in advanced calculus. Do you think I've ever used that? Do you think I could do that right now? You think if you put something in front of me right now, I would go cross-eyed. All that time. And it was like painstaking. I remember crying. I remember like getting stomach aches before I had to go to school because it was just, yeah, I hated school. Well, guys, yeah, for some reason I was good at math. I don't know why. I'm not good at anything else. And I'm no longer good at math. Just for that time, God was like, here, you can have one thing. Can take it away from you eventually, but... all right, guys. Well, this has been fun, and I'll be back next Tuesday at 6:00 p.m. Don't forget to subscribe to Foot N5D to watch tomorrow night, the Pink Patriot Hour. That's going to be a lot of fun. And, you know, obviously like and subscribe this. If you don't follow me on Twitter, it's Kate_Awakening. Same thing on Instagram. Have a great night, you guys. I love y'all.